So, I want to be straightforward with you today. I shared in the last episode how I have reduced my dose down to 12.5. And truthfully, this was a big decision, but the side effects were just intolerable at the higher dose. And now I'm back where the side effects are just so manageable. The heartburn, the fatigue, the nausea, all of that is gone. And what I put in place to manage it is just terrific. But I was hoping that now that I have that settled, that I would start to see some weight loss, right? I haven't. So I'm sitting here knowing that I have another 10 to 15 pounds that I would like to lose, but I don't want to do it fast. I know that, but it's rarely moving right now. So I have a choice to make. I could let the slow progress become a reason to become either impatient or disengage in my process or convince myself that I've done enough. And believe me, I've told myself these things before in the past where I've had some success, not as extraordinarily successful as I have been on Mounjaro for the past 3 years. Like I've said, I haven't been at this weight in 40 years. Big deal. So I do feel I could lean in a little more despite those voices in my head and become a little more intentional and find ways to stay curious about my body and understand more about the complexities. So join me. I'm MC. I'm a health psychologist with over 30 years of experience in medical research. And today I'm sharing with you exactly what I'm planning to do right now. And frankly, it's not fun. It's calorie tracking. We've all heard that. Everybody says calorie deficit. And of course, the whole foods process, definitely interesting. And for me, I need a reward system. I don't know about you, but rewards are important because that will help me be consistent and help me engage in movement exercise. Because my friends, slow is not stop. So join me today and let's discuss it. Before I do, though, I want you to understand about what it means when we say a weight loss plateau. And it might be surprising what you learn about the research. And it's really fascinating when you look at the scale. It's really not telling you much. It's giving you a number. And while it's a useful number at times, it's not as interesting as what we know about the truth of our whole body process, and that the scale really is a liar at times. We need to look at why we plateau, how fiber plays a role, and why is it that the scale is lying to us. We really need to understand this plateau issue because, in a way, it's our body defending us. And I think this is one of the most complicated issues that we don't understand from primitive man. It's that the body is warning you. It's telling you that, hey, we don't like to see that you're losing weight. Our body doesn't want us to lose weight fast because we're afraid we're not going to have the nutrition or the resources to maintain our body. So what is interesting is in the analysis of the large Surmount number one study of Mounjaro, they said that roughly 90% of participants reached a weight plateau at week 72. And some met a plateau in the first 6 to 9 months because they lost their weight pretty rapidly. 90%. So a plateau is not the exception. A plateau is something that is going to happen to nearly everyone who's taking medications. And I think that's something that we have to be aware of, that plateaus are about the process. It's not about anything other than what we understand of how our body seeks to be in an equilibrium. It seeks to be just in a state of poise. It doesn't want to go any further and it wants to maintain. Slowing down at this point when I'm so close to getting the 10 or 15 more pounds off, that is not a failure. It's our body telling us that we're defending it so that we don't have any further weight loss. It's like a metabolic adaptation. And in a way, it's something as primitive man, it really helped us maintain our body's homeostasis. So we need to understand that when we get to plateaus, there are three things happening. Our body wants to burn less energy and it turns to our hunger hormones. So suddenly you may be having a little more hunger than you thought. And it basically will turn down the fullness hormones. So even though you're on this drug that's basically slowing everything down, there is this process that happens in our body. And so this is something that we're learning. It's not something we understand, but we're learning. So we must understand that we have a plateau and that what we know is that the surmount data also stated that their energy dropped by 9% while they were on the medication, while their appetite was pushing back and telling them they're hungry. So this is really interesting information. And while it is discouraging in some ways to know that this is what we will confront after being on the medicine like I am confronting it now, a full 3 years, I'm happy to see, though, that by being diligent, my weight loss has not it's gone up. It's stayed the same. And I love that maintaining is winning anyway. So I just know that whatever I do next, it's about really figuring out that slow process. And I think this is true for others is that if you've met a plateau and suddenly you're finding yourself more hungry, or you're not feeling that sense. It's our body, it's our primitive body. And while the GLP-1 drugs are helping to some regard, somehow after a long period, there is this sense of it's really a weird plateau situation. So there is another issue that I think is in the companion study called Surmount 4. They also had the same point and other types of information when people stop the medication, and this was very meaningful, that they continued to hold on to their weight loss too. And it was uncomfortable to find out that many of these people are having a plateau. It's very discouraging and it triggers things in us. And it just triggers the situation of old behavior showing up because obesity is a chronic condition. And while coming off of these drugs is useful for some because of either their insurance issues or maybe they really want to transition it so they're not on medications anymore, I'm staying open about that issue for myself. I think everyone is going to have a different experience, but understanding that situation of where either you're at a maintenance dose and you're still not seeing a lot of weight loss, or you're met your weight loss goal and now you want to come off that drug. The truth is that you must be mindful and work with your clinician. And that's what I'm doing. I'm working with my care team because I don't really know how I want to navigate this. And I definitely want to support myself so that I am doing the very best thing I can to maintain my wonderful weight loss after 3 years. Don't want to gain the weight and I don't want to lose the good success that I've been capable of finding after so many years. And I really want to do everything I can in my power. While the scale may be stable, I know that the success from the bigger picture is what I truly want to hold on to. And not losing any more weight is still highly successful. And I think one of the things that I am understanding is that we have to really look at our food choices. And that's really what I'm doing. I'm doing a deeper dive into how am I making fiber more intentional in my, because the medication now has gotten to a point where it's done what it can and it's going to continue to help me. but I need to also do what I can in the other ways of food choices and movement because it's never just one thing. Medication is just part of the prong of helping you because that's how complex obesity is. So to me, it's about how can I increase fiber because I need to support my gut hormone. And that's really the process is a GLP-1 is a gut hormone. It is one that has a fullness signal that it gives to your brain. It says you're satisfied. So by adding more fiber, especially those that are fermentable fiber, which I'm not a big one on sauerkraut. So I'm trying to look at other things that are pickled. Like I do like pickled vegetables, some of them. Those are the things that are going to be the best for my gut bacteria. And I think it also complements what the GLP-1 drug does for your gut hormones. So fiber and using those things that are going to help me to feel full and they're going to also feed those bacteria that are in my gut, those are going to be something that is going to play a key role in what it is that I want to find successful as I go towards losing these last 10 to 15 pounds. I wish I liked more fermentable fiber. I do the yogurts and I do some of the pickled vegetables. But other than that, I'm not a kimchi eater and I'm not a sauerkraut eater. So I'm trying to investigate some more fermentable fiber-ish kinds of foods. I'll come back to you guys with that. So I will do that and add a little more fiber to my meals, more vegetables. I think the other thing that fiber does is that it helps us with the other issues with the constipation that comes. So I'm looking at ways to add oats and barley and beans and chia seeds and increase the water so that I can definitely have a faster feeling of feeling full on smaller amounts of portions that make me feel satisfied. So even with the GLP-1 drugs, I'll be able to feel fuller. The reviews have showed that adding just about 14 grams of fiber a day can help with reducing 10% of your calorie intake. And that's really very surprising. And that's really doing it very simply by adding more of those kinds of fibrous foods into your diet. Now, I think that is going to be a nice addition. While fiber is not a medication and it's not going, I'm not going to be losing lots of weight eating oatmeal and chia seeds, but the studies have shown that making small, meaningful choices, it helps us feel less hungry. It helps us feel fuller, faster. And guess what? It even improves our blood sugar. So I think when you're in the last stage of losing the weight, like that's where I'm at, we have to do all of these small steps to modify what works. And I think it is about being intentional about my fiber. It's being intentional about understanding that when the scale is not moving, it doesn't mean that I'm still not successful. I need to just stay engaged and not lose my focus on the end goal, which is to really have a lifestyle that is about supporting me and giving me the best version of who I am until I'm 80 or 90. It's hard to understand why our scale is just not moving. But I think now that I'm wearing the Hume band and I looked at my numbers tonight, I was really excited to see that since I started wearing the Hume band, I have increased my muscle and I have decreased my fat. While the number on the scale hasn't done anything, it doesn't tell us everything. And I think that's really giving me more hope to keep staying engaged. And that's really what it is about being on this journey of being as healthy as I possibly can. And I really don't want to lose it fast. I want to go slow so that I don't lose muscle. I want to make sure that what I do lose is meaningful and that it's something that will help me in the long run have strength and muscle and not fat. So that's another thing about the Surmount study, that they said that 25% of the total weight lost on Mounjaro was lean mass, not fat. And that's what scares me. And I think that's why I don't mind going slow, because lean mass, when you lose it, it's hard to get it back. If you're younger, you can gain it back. But guess what? As you're getting older, it's more difficult to maintain our lean body mass. So I really am being extraordinarily intentional so that I'm building muscle and losing fat, and I want to go slow no matter what. So I know it's not very sexy and exciting, but I have to eat enough protein. When you're not hungry and you're full, like tonight, I had big plate of vegetables. I'm not really that hungry, and I ate a protein drink. I know that doesn't sound very glamorous, but I wanted to get protein in and I wanted to eat some vegetables. I had a protein drink so that I could at least be close to what I should be getting, because I'm nowhere near the amount of protein I should be taking in every day. I'm trying hard to get 100 grams of protein in a day. I'm not doing it. I'm good at 90, 91, occasionally 94, 95. Muscle is denser than fat and it weighs more. A pound of muscle takes up far less room, though. So I am seeing something change in my clothing, but the scale is not moving. And I'm getting better at being okay with it. And it doesn't mean I'm not progressing. And that's why I feel extraordinarily hopeful as I saw the notes in my Hume band. I shared with you that I am increasing the fiber in my meals. I'm increasing my protein. I'm working hard to give myself a reward when I do my resistance training. I'm focusing on doing Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, not in a punishing way. I'm doing it just very mindfully to build more muscle. And so far, it's been revealed by using this little Hume band. And what I'll do in the end of the year, I'll go and do a DEXA scan, because I really do want to see and compare between the Hume band's data and a real DEXA, which does measure it from a scientific perspective, how much muscle and fat you have. And I'm just staying engaged with my care team, because I recognize that while I'm a health psychologist and a health educator, and I'm very intelligent about the process, I need to talk it out loud with someone who understands my medical history. They understand the other medications I'm taking. I think having that conversation with your care team is so important. And if your insurance covers it like mine does, definitely engage. Have that wellness coach speak to you each month, because it helps us to see that while our bodies are at a plateau, it doesn't mean that we're not still making improvements in our muscle, making improvements in the types of dietary choices that we're making. None of this is bad or failing. All of it is empowering us to be the best version of who we are. So, if you've hit a plateau and you feel like that old voice in your head starts chirping at you, please share with me. I'd love to know how you're managing your struggle, what you do to encourage yourself. And I would love to read those in the comments, because honestly, your stories are why I keep doing this. And my father's story is why I keep showing up. I really can't encourage you any more than I encourage myself, that each day we have our one precious life to live. And so living it intentionally is really powerful. And I would love it if you would subscribe and join me. I can't tell you how important it is to see and hear and understand how you're traveling through your health journey, no matter what it is. Be well, my friends, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye. So thank you so much for joining me at Healthy by George. I hope you found the information inspiring and that it encourages you on your wellness journey. Because remember, your body, your well-being are a most precious gift, and every tiny action taken daily can make a huge difference. I hope the information here is educational purposes and is not meant to replace your medical care. See your doctor and talk about what works for you. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Your support means the world to me, and it helps me continuing creating content that inspires and empowers you to live your best life. Goodbye for now, and join me again at the next Healthy by George.